Hi, my name is Forris Day Jr. and this is an overview of StoryO software. StoryO software is a software designed for writers of novels, plays, scripts. Any writing project can be put into StoryO, and it helps you organize your writing. You create your project, and by the end of it all, you can create a pitch, and I'm going to go over each step. There are 5 modules in StoryO. Right over here to the left, you see projects. Then there's outline, timeline, characters, and pitch. And I'm going to go over each one. Start at the top, projects. What a project is it could be a television series, for instance. You would name your project the television series, and then within that project you create each episode. Or if you're creating a one-time project such as a script for a movie, then the project name would be your production company or whatever you would like. And you can create all different things, a description and mission statement, by clicking on this tab. You can move over here to logo and artwork, create a logo for it. Now all of this is important later on for the pitch segment, which I will get into. So we have this group here, and these are sample projects right here at the bottom that have come with StoryO, just so you get an idea of how it works. Time Travel is a short film. Shakespeare's Hamlet, of course, is a play. The Civil War is a documentary, and It's a Wonderful Life, of course, is a feature-length film. So it's got 4 examples of 4 different types of writing that you can do in this. And of course you can write novels and whatever else you'd like. So we've created the project. Let's just say we did this and created It's a Wonderful Life, a one-time show. So we select It's a Wonderful Life. Now let's go into the other modules. Let's start with outline. You click on outline and you'll notice in this row here there are all these choices: main character, conflict character, theme, problem, on and on. These are all questions that have to be answered in your feature, in your play, in your novel. So let's start with main character, which is already selected. What is the goal of the main character? Of course, the main character in It's a Wonderful Life is George. George's initial goal is to get out of Bedford Falls. And you can answer all these questions: what is preventing the main character from achieving his goal, and on and on. And of course we need a conflict character, so if I select that, the green tab here, the conflict character in It's a Wonderful Life is Mr. Potter, and we answer all kinds of questions about Mr. Potter. What is the theme of It's a Wonderful Life? Click on that. We can answer questions about the theme. And you don't have to answer them all, but the more you answer, the better feel you get for your story. You can start answering all the questions that the audience might have about your story. So that is called outlining your story. And in here, there's lots of stuff to outline. Your one line, for instance, would be your elevator pitch, if you will. You can add a love interest. And of course, George's love interest is Mary Hatch. So you can see you can really get into some great detail in outlining your story. Now that you've outlined it, you want to put things in an order. That's where the timeline comes into play. So we'll click on Timeline module, which is the 3rd module on the left. And these read left to right. You'll notice they're all color-coded. So this window here, all the way to the right, are sequences. This window is segments. Segments are broken into smaller sequences. So Bedford Falls 1919, for instance, is all these blue ones. You can see that the blue ones are here. And then Bedford Falls 1928 are the 2 green ones. You can see that each segment is broken into a sequence. It's kind of like a tree. Everything gets smaller and smaller and more detailed as you go along. Let's just kind of zoom in a bit here. Let's go to Bedford Falls 1919 and just look at those sequences. Now each sequence can be broken up. Let's go to Universe, which is the opening scene when the universe is talking. I will select see the three little cards here? I'll click on that, and that shows me index cards. Each segment can be broken into little index cards to describe what is happening in that sequence. Clarence is called by the universe to help George with his discouragement. That's index card number 1. Index card number 2 reads, the universe shows Clarence what's happening through George's life up until the point of his problem. So if you've seen the movie, you fully understand this. And if that writing's a little too small for you, there's a little slider here. You can slide it, and they get bigger or smaller, whatever you'd like. Down here, you can add cards, remove cards, and so on. So I'm going to close that window. So you can see the timeline goes from this is the entire story, each segment of the story, and each segment has sequences. Of course, we're only looking at Bedford Falls 1919. If I wanted to look at 1928, which is green, I hit it. There's 2 sequences or 2 segments to that sequence, and each segment, of course, is broken up into index cards. So you can really get down to a minuscule level looking at your story. Okay, your story's outlined. Now it's in order on the timeline. You want to work on some characters. Our main character is George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, and here is his character card. We've given him a name. He's the lead. He's male. You can put his age range, what type of character he is. He's a protagonist, and there are all different types of characters you can choose. And you write a little description about him. It's really neat because you can get really detailed with each of your character. Like, let's click on Background Family tab. His birthplace is Bedford Falls. His sibling, Harry Bailey, who is also one of the characters in It's a Wonderful Life. And you can get into as much detail as you want, even if you're not going to include it in your story. It's always good to have a great backstory for your character, because by knowing your backstory, it tells you what drives your character to do the things that he does. So even if it's not mentioned in the story, you as the writer knowing this information, it can really help. And there's all kinds of blanks to be filled in here with that. We have a youth and education one if you wanted to put what schools they went to, profession, politics, religion, conflict, and you can create your own little windows to fill in. And the index cards attached. When you create your index cards that are part of your segments that we just discussed, you can tell that card to attach to a character. In other words, if that character is in that scene, you say Harry is in that scene or George is in that scene. We're looking at George. We're on George's character card, and all these index cards that we're looking at, I'll scroll. You can see that these are all scenes that George does something in, says something in, or perhaps is mentioned in all of those little tiny scenes. So that's the character card. And there are characters for everybody. There's George Bailey. I select Mary Hatch, who was played by Donna Reed. So we have the picture of Mary Hatch right there. Henry Potter. We have a scene from the movie. Now, of course, if you haven't filmed your movie yet, you might want to put a picture of the actor who's in here, or just a character that's representative of what you'd like to see. All right, now we're at the point we've created an outline, we've created a timeline, and we've created the characters. At this point, there's 2 different paths you can take. You can export all of this information into a program such as Final Draft or Movie Magic screenwriting software, or into Guerrilla film production software, and you can start producing your film or touching up the script, getting the script written. But now maybe you want to get some people to invest in your idea. This is where the pitch module comes into play. I'm going to click on the pitch module, and first I'm going to go to projects, because there's no pitch pre-made for It's a Wonderful Life, but I do know there's one for time travel. So we select time travel and say this is your story. You create a pitch. Now in time travel, the main character they've created, there's a little drawing here, and his name is Bill. And in custom text, they've typed in, Bill is our hero. He is charming, but he is reckless, and that is what gets him into trouble. And you can add other slides here. You can see this layout, and these layouts are selected over here to the right. There's several different layouts, and you can see the green check mark here. That's the layout that is selected here. And the different layouts are, think of them as PowerPoint slides. If you're going to go pitch your story to some possible investors, you can show them a PowerPoint presentation in essence, but you create it in StoryO. And here's what it looks like. This is where you create it. Let's see what the finished slide looks like. By clicking here, there it is, meet Bill. Bill is our hero. He is charming. There's 3 or 4 slides in this demonstration. So when I click to go to next slide, meet the nerd. So you can see people looking at this, they can get an idea of your characters and what the story is all about. And there's a dinosaur in this story. If I go back to where you create it, you can see there's the dinosaur slide. And if I wanted to add some custom text, I could certainly do that. So you can create your pitch right out of StoryO. It's a full-feature program that takes your story from concept to pitch and prepares it for a script writing software. You can also export it as a text document out of this, and it'll kind of basically format a rough script for you. So that's another option. But if you really want to get detailed, export it into one of the screenwriting programs. Between that and StoryO, you can have a totally complete project that's ready to show to investors or just help you wrap your head around your story. I hope this overview of StoryO software by Jungle Software has been helpful to you. If you have any questions and want to contact me, you can email me at forrisday@yahoo.com. That's FORRISDAY @yahoo.com. Thank you.